case you guys are wondering, the city is in Houston, Texas. I moved here a couple of years ago, and I've been kind of traveling back and forth to like Austin. I lived in Miami last year, but we're back in Houston now. And yeah, I do feel like I have. I mean, I would say Austin right now is like the main city where I have most of my friends because actually a lot of people moved from Houston to Austin. But yeah, I have a good connection here to Houston as well in terms of like friends, networks, and yeah, this is really the place where most of it really kickstarted in terms of my online coaching business. My social media started to pop off here too. So definitely has a special place in my heart. And more importantly, I love the weather here. Like it isn't sunny year round. It definitely does get cold and during the winter months, but right now it's sort of October. As you guys can tell, the sun's shining on my face. And I've become so adapted to the work weather where I don't care what it takes. Like I will go anywhere as long as I am in warm weather. Like I need that because I get cold very quickly, and I just hate feeling cold and shivering all the time. Like I need the sun, I need that vitamin D. So yeah, let's freaking smash the workouts. Ready? Pre-workout done. Let's go.
Really, really sir. Like that is you don't know anything out. No.
So generally speaking, whenever I do a barbell exercise, I always just starts with just the barbell, just to obviously warm up. I do a couple reps just to increase blood flow, get used to the exercise. And then from there, I'll just slowly but surely add more weight, do a couple more warm-up sets until I hit my working set weights, and then I will actually start keeping track of my actual working set, my actual auto sets.
I'm making my favorites in these bowls, sir. Like, yeah, I knew it was the real spot.
Alrighty, so first exercise is going to be, as you guys can tell, the rows. Not just any type of row. I'm doing deficit rows. So typically speaking, you guys will probably see most people, they'll put on 45-pound weights on each side, whereas I am using 20-pound plates. And essentially that creates a slight little deficit, so I get a deeper stretch at the bottom as opposed to stopping here. I get the sub like a bit deeper at the bottom. And that I explained in the live call yesterday, you really want to favor the length that's, aka the stretched portion of the lens at all times whenever you can. And that means going all the way down the sleeve as you comfortably can, and then coming all the way up. So yeah, we're gonna add a bit more weight. Once again, I'm using 25-pound plates over the 45-pound plates to create a deeper deficit, right? Deficit rows. If you don't have that, if you cannot do that, what you can also do is kind of step on like a something to kind of create that deficit. So you can either create a deficit by using smaller plates, right, to create that deficit, or you can stand on something to create that deficit as well. But yeah, there's one of two ways to do it. But yeah, that's the way I'm doing it. I'm just using smaller plates, the 25-pound plates. Already, so we're gonna start our first working set here. Before we do get started, this is very, very important, especially on your full workouts, lifting straps. Talked about this yesterday too, but I wear the Versa grips. And this essentially just gets your grip strength out of the equation because when you're training your back should be the limiting factor and not your forearms or your grip, right? So making sure that you have a pair of either lifting straps, which I used to use all the time, but ideally, preferably, Versa grips. These are absolute game changers. A bit more expensive, a bit more on the pressure side. They go for around, I think, $100 USD, or maybe 80 or $100. They have different types, but I think I got mine for like $100. But it's definitely the best investment I've made into my lifting career. They're super durable, they last forever, and most importantly, they actually work, right? In terms of they get the grip strength out of the equation. So got these on, gonna be doing just 145 on the bar, and you guys will really notice that like I really make sure that every single rep is executed properly, right? You'll notice that my back will stay nice and flat, my chest will stay nice and upright, and I'll get a deep stretch at the bottom, and then I'll just get a peak contraction at the top. No swinging, no movements, no body language, just pure strict form. And I do as many reps as I can perfectly do. Once I start to notice that my form breaks down, that's when I'll kind of quit the set, because that's when I know I've gone to true muscular failure, or at least close to. I go to around 1 rep in reserve usually on average, but yeah. And then I'll be supersetting this with calf raises. So, big fan of supersets, incorporate supersets in most of my workouts just to cut the workout duration in half. So yeah, we'll be doing that. Let's freaking get this going. I'll do a quick little warm-up set here to get some blood in the calves, prime them for the actual worthy sets. Stretch on the lens calves, stretch. Okay. Okay, I'm about to do my actual working set now, but yeah, she hasn't come with the rows at this day. Yeah, just trying to maintain good proper flow throughout the entire set essentially. So yeah, rows are a bit tricky because naturally speaking, like you are gonna use a bit of momentum when you do the exercise, right? So I would encourage you not to stop as soon as you start to use a bit of like body language. Like that's totally fine actually. Just make sure that it stays consistent, right? Because it can be difficult to track your progress week after week. If 1 week you use a lot of swinging and a lot of momentum, and then the following week you use like no momentum and no swinging, because obviously it's a lot harder if you don't swing and use momentum. So as long as you're kind of consistently kind of using the same form week to week, it just makes you track your progress a lot easier. So yeah, did 1 set of that. Now we're doing 1 set of this. The calf press, I'm a big fan of this specific machine for the calf press. The stimulus fatigue ratio is really good. It's like my lower back isn't involved. It's simply just my calves. And I go relatively heavy on around 10, 12 reps here. And then, the reason why I like supersetting the rows with the calves is because, as you guys can tell, there's no interference whatsoever. Like, now that my back muscles and my biceps and stuff are resting, I can train my calves. And the two muscle groups have like nothing to do with one another, so my rows will not interfere with my calf press, and the calf press won't interfere with the rows. And so that is why I do this. Our Talkie is good for you if you rarely work out. Our Talkies, I believe Talkies are chips. Definitely in moderation, it's fine. If it fits within your calories and macros for the day, that's cool. I'm not a big kind of BD chips. They're really crunchy, doesn't excite me, but yeah, I would say for most people watching this, like 80% whole foods, 20% processed foods. Just take a picture, make sure you're eating your calories and macros, and you should be good to go.
Me to mess you up, bro.
No, you're good, man. No, I didn't want to be in your way either. Already 1 set done of each. We'll be doing 5 sets, so 4 sets left. And then we'll moving on to our next superset exercise. So currently just filling up some water. Definitely important to stay hydrated throughout your workout. You don't want no dehydration going on. So here we go, next set. Okay.
Sir?
Oh, you're good. Now.
Just about everything I was here.
Alrighty, just did my second set there. Feeling pretty good so far. So we did go on a morning run this morning. I went to this run club, which I've never been to before. They have one every single week here, literally across the street from where I live. But they were having a bunch of like vendors come out, so I got a couple samples. So this is like an intro workout sample. So as I have my water, just gonna dump some of this into here. I believe it's just some EAAs, basically. EAAs stand for essential amino acids. I know the name implies they're essential, but they're really not essential in terms of like you don't need to supplement in EAAs or BCAAs, which are pretty popular supplements on the supplement markets. But if you're hitting your protein goals, like if you eat enough protein from like actual whole foods, whether it's chicken, beef, eggs, Greek yogurts, milk, all these other things, you don't need to be supplementing in EAAs or BCAAs because like you're literally getting that from your whole foods. So yeah, don't worry too much about that. But yeah, typically I do my cardio in the morning. So usually that's around a 6 mile run. And then I'll do my work in the morning. And then typically in the afternoon is when I do my weight training session. So it's really important, depending on what your goals are, to, if you can, try your best to, if you are going to be doing both cardio and weightlifting, to at the very least separate them as much as you can. So preferably do like your lifting in the AM, running in the PM, or vice versa, just so you can have time to recover in between the two things you do. Now, if you are in a situation where you're going to have to cram the two things together into one single workout, then I would always start with doing the thing that's obviously is your goal and priority. So if your main goal is to build muscle, then you should prioritize your weightlifting session, so your actual workout, and then do your cardio afterwards. Whereas if your main priority is to be a better runner, right, whether it's running a marathon or just wanting to increase your stamina and endurance, then I would obviously do that at the start of your workouts. We got Big Dilla in the building of your Snap post. Thank you for what you do. Dude, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Glad I can help. And if you do have any other questions to me, just let me know. I love to answer them for you here. But yeah, not bad. As you guys can tell, blue ras flavor. Anyway, let's do a third set. Maybe it'd be easier without the Crocs on. Honestly, like, their Crocs don't really do anything in terms of, they're very comfortable and they're actually, honestly, a bit beneficial. I don't know, they're just really comfy to me. They don't really interfere with anything that I do when it comes to like my actual weightlifting session. I even squat in these too. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these. Now when it comes to my running, I do wear running shoes obviously, but yeah, when it comes to like lifting weights, like obviously, like, I don't know, like I know people that work out barefoot. So yeah, I don't really think your footwear matters as much as you may think, especially if you're doing like an upper body workouts. Like I see people at the gym all the time wearing like socks and sandals, like wearing slides, wearing Crocs. So the biggest thing really is just, I'm always scared seeing guys wear those that they would slip. I mean, you'd be surprised, like most Crocs, especially like with the technology they have, like they're pretty grippy. Obviously you do have to make sure that you don't drop weight on them but like even if you drop a weight on a Croc compared to dropping a weight on like a regular shoe, like most shoes nowadays, like they're so like thin material where it's like there's no real protection, right? Unless you're wearing like steel toe boots at the gym, which I don't see anyone do. If you're gonna drop a weight on your foot, it's gonna hurt the exact amount as it would had you have been wearing Crocs or normal shoes. I like to throw back to basics, like the old videos. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Pain River. So let me know what kind of videos you used to watch with me. And yeah, definitely would like to, I mean, obviously, like I want to make whatever you guys want to see more of, right? So obviously we are doing these live calls now a bit more often, just to kind of take you guys to more of like what my actual workouts look like. And I get to interact with you guys too. But yeah, definitely just open to, so daily workout videos. I don't think I actually ever did daily workout videos. At least I don't think on my YouTube I ever did that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll do vlogs. Okay. After calorie deficit, do you recommend reverse dieting or bulking next? That's a great question. So after calorie deficits, you're happy with your current body weight. Hopefully you're at still like relatively healthy body fat percentages. So if you, for example, do like a bodybuilding prep, like a bodybuilding show, your goal should not be to maintain that level of body fat because that's unsustainable. Your hormones are like completely out of whack and you do not want to sustain that. So after a bodybuilding prep, I wouldn't say reverse diet. I would say like your intention should be to up your body fats to like healthy levels, right? And then from there slowly ease into either whatever your next goal is, whether it's a slight maintenance period or a bulking phase essentially. But I assume for you, you got yourself down to a pretty healthy body fat percentage that you can realistically sustain. Then I would say from there, definitely go in a maintenance phase. So go back to your, not to your old maintenance calories, but to your new maintenance calories. Because now as you have lost the weight, obviously your maintenance calories have now changed, right? Because you're naturally a smaller person and you don't require as many calories now that you are obviously a bit lighter. So I'll definitely go on a maintenance phase for a bit, just to wash away all the dieting fatigue that you may have accumulated over the past however many weeks amongst you were in that deficit for. And then from there, just reassess where you want to get to. If you want to do another fat loss phase, do that. If you want to chill at maintenance for a bit, just to hold your body weight steady there, definitely also great. But if you want to bulk up from there, then definitely do a lean bulk at a couple hundred extra calories. Aim to gain around half a pound or so per week, and you should be good to go. Already, so just did 4 sets of rows, 4 sets of calves. We got 1 more set of each left. 4 will be moving on to our next superset, and that'll be weighted pull-ups. So on today is Saturday. No, sorry. Yeah, no, today is Saturday. So on Wednesday, when I did my previous back workouts, I did wide grip pull-ups. So different grip, whereas today I'll be doing neutral grip pull-ups. So slight variation there in grips. To target slightly different muscles, but it's big picture, it still targets mainly your lats, your rhomboids, a bit of traps too, biceps too, of course, a bit of rear delts, but just have some more variation to your routine, spice things out. It's always good to, at the very least, change grips, right? Same thing with the bench press. Like if you're doing the bench press, like don't just do flat all the time, maybe add in some incline, do some decline, do dumbbells, do barbells, have some machine work to it, right? Just for variation, right? But yeah, these rows are definitely very taxing. Like obviously, like most of your posterior chain is getting hit with this exercise. Obviously, you got to keep your back nice and stable. Got to keep your chest upright. Obviously, you got your hamstrings involved too, at least isometrically. And then yeah, definitely lots of lats, rhomboids involved. So that definitely takes a lot out of you. But yeah, we got 1 more set left, and then we'll move over to the pull-ups, and then we'll be supersetting that with lateral raises. I have a interesting variation that I do. So yesterday I did incline lateral raises with dumbbells, and you guys are probably wondering, Conan, why are you training your side delts 2 days in a row? And the reason for that is because my side delts, not just mine, but most people's side delts, they're a small muscle group, right? And they tend to recover quite quickly. So you may notice that, especially if they don't get like super sore, that you can actually train them like back to back. So day 1, day 2, you can pretty much train them if you want 2 days in a row, sometimes even 3 days in a row. They can recover from that, obviously. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing for our next superset. Which country are you from? So I'm from the Netherlands, which is a small country in Europe, but I live in the US. Currently based in Houston, Texas. already. So first superset complete. Now, like I said, we'll be moving on to our second exercise. Well, at least there is MNO loud music blasting at the gym, so you can actually focus. Yeah. So this may sound a bit weird, but I actually prefer working out in silence. As you guys can tell, I don't have my AirPods on. I mean, obviously, I won't be able to listen to music, but even if I don't go live, like I actually never listen to music, which is quite weird. But I've always I won't say always, but over the past like 2 or so years, I've just always trained in either silence like it is right now, or just whatever the gym music plays. I've never really been too fussed about the gym music, to be honest, because I'm just usually so focused on like the workout that I'm doing that I don't even pay attention to the music. And also, I think back when I first got into lifting, I got into this mindset where like I needed to have like the perfect song on before I did like my actual working set. I remember before I did any PR on like the squat or deadlift or bench press, I was like on my phone for like 5 minutes trying to like search for like the best song. I just kind of took my attention away from the actual like workout itself, right? So yeah, you want to make sure that the music you listen to doesn't interfere with your actual workout. But yeah, all right.
See, please, Siki Papa.
Alright, so that was the lateral raise variation that we're doing today. As you guys can tell, my place in my chest up against the pad. I strictly am only using my side delts here. It's literally impossible for me to like cheat or use momentum or swing because I'm literally like almost like strapped against the seat here. So this is a great way to not cheat the exercise so you can actually focus on your side delts here. So great little variation here. And because your side delts are, like I said, a relatively small muscle group, they tend to recover quite quickly, especially like in between sets. So usually rest around 30 to 60 seconds and I'll be ready to rock and roll once again.
Please.
Oh man, that will burn your side delts like crazy. If you guys haven't tried that variation yet, highly recommend to do so. See if we can show you guys a different angle in my next set. But yeah, I was gonna superset like I said, but someone else was using the pull-up bar, and yeah, I gotta respect other people's obviously space in the gym. So unfortunately, we'll just be doing one single set here, and we'll do 5 just straight sets here. At least that way, the rest time is going to be a bit shorter here, in between each set. So I should be done relatively quick here. I got 3 more sets left here, and then we'll do the pull-ups, and then we'll finish up with some biceps, triceps. So yeah, very efficient workout, hitting each major muscle group 2 times per week, and then the smaller ones closer to like 4 to 5. So side delts I do 4 times a week. Calves I do 6 days a week. Yeah, those are like the 2 main ones that I have higher frequency, but like back, chest, quads, hams, usually around 2 times because they do tend to get quite sore quite quickly. So, okay. Two more sets left on this one. And one thing I typically like to do for the isolation exercises, especially for like the smaller muscle groups, is something called myo-rep match sets. This is an intensity technique that I got from Dr. Mike Israel from RP Strength. Huge fan of him and his channel. He's an exercise scientist. I believe he has a PhD, but I've been following them and specifically him since like 2019. So I've been getting most of my training principles from them. I got all their books, all their diet books, watch all their YouTube videos. Like I really nerd out on like the science things behind like hypertrophy training, muscle building training, dieting, fat loss, muscle building, all that stuff. And yeah, one of the intensity techniques that I believe he popularized is something called myo-rep match sets. They're basically like mountain sets where essentially whatever you get on your first working set. So for example, here I did 20 pounds and my first set I got 20 reps. For your consecutive sets following that, your goal is to try to match what you got on your first set. So let's say on your first set of an exercise, you do 20 reps. On your second set, you're going to try and get 20 reps again. But as fatigue starts to kick in, it's going to be very unlikely for you to hit those 12 reps or 20 reps again. And so you're likely going to have to do a couple pauses, right? It's like just rest for a bit, like 5-10 seconds, catch your breather, and then do or continue on until you hit your 20 reps essentially. And that was all within one set. So it's a great way to intensify your actual working sets and just to cram in a ton more volume and a ton more intensity into just one single set. Pain Reaver, I usually watch Jeff Nippert for stuff like that. I find Alex Eubank a playboy trying to push his product. So I don't really follow Alex Eubank. I don't really know what he does. I know he has an aesthetic physique, obviously, but I've never really followed him. Jeff Nippert, I'm also a huge fan of. The way he breaks down his videos is very beginner friendly, which I absolutely love. Mike Israel is a bit more like sciencey in depth, but yeah, Jeff Nippert really explains everything very, very well. So definitely like stay subscribed to him because he puts out a ton of great knowledge. I actually met him at Alpha Lens 2 years ago. One of the most humble guys I've ever met. Like super cool. He's Canadian too. So yeah, really cool guy. Anyway, I'm done rambling. Let's move on to second or fourth sets. Yo, Dallas, what's up, my guy? Any more questions? I do not believe so. But yeah, if you guys do have any other questions, feel free to obviously put them down below. I'll love to do my best to answer them for you. But if not, keep on watching along. And yeah, if you guys do have any feedback for me in regards to how you would like me to structure these live calls moving forward, please let me know. We're just kind of experimenting here with different formats. Ultimately, just to give you guys obviously as much value as I can, whether it's workout tips, nutrition tips, specifically fat loss. Most of the people that I help, most of my clients are weight loss clients. So specifically, if you need help with that, that's my expertise. I myself have lost a bunch of weight and I have helped probably up to this point hundreds of busy guys with family, work, all these other things drop 30 to 50 pounds. All without sacrificing their favorite foods or spending hours in the gym. They've been good so far. Their lives nice changed. All right, glad to hear that. Let me know if the audio is okay as well. I know right now in this gym there's no music blasting, so hopefully the audio is pretty good. But I do know if I go back to a regular gym, there's gonna be music in the background, so I want to make sure that the audio is like top notch because the most important part, I believe, when it comes to content, is the audio. Like, sure, the video does matter, but I think more so the audio is really important because if the sound is muffled, if it's kind of echoey, whatever, then it doesn't really give you a pleasant hearing experience. But yeah, hopefully today's all right. Oh. that absolutely burns your side delts. Absolutely burns them. Seems like the pull bar is still taken, so what we're likely gonna do is you go over to biceps and triceps, knock those out, and then finish off with the down exercise. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some incline curls on the bench here. So just literally grabbing a pair of dumbbells, lying on a slight incline bench, and then just doing just straight curls, and then we'll be supersetting that with triceps. I am a huge fan of supersetting both biceps and triceps, because that's a prime example of an antagonist superset. So I explained this yesterday during my workout. But whenever you do a superset, I highly encourage you to do antagonist supersets. So just ensuring that the supersets that you do doesn't interfere with the actual muscle group. So I would never do like a back superset with another back exercise, because the first exercise may interfere with the second exercise, except primarily if you're targeting the same muscle group. Whereas if you're doing opposing muscle groups, so either chest, back, bicep, tricep, quads, hamstrings, the two ones really, okay, yeah, you can definitely watch the replay. But yeah, like I said, the two won't really interfere with one another, so you can definitely get away with supersetting those. Just to literally cut your workout time in half. A very efficient way to, once again, make your workout more efficient, and then also add a lot more intensity to it. So if you're on a time crunch, if you only have X amount of time in the gym, highly recommend supersets, specifically antagonist supersets. So yeah, let's do it. Well, no, so really with the live I did yesterday, I actually included timestamps. So you can literally go into my live yesterday. I believe it's called Push Day at Alpha Land. And you can literally hit the description, and then there'll be timestamps below. So I believe one of the timestamps was when I explained the kind of supersets, antagonist superset thing. So if you want a bit more information about that and want me to go a bit more in depth on that, you can definitely rewatch it and literally just like skip through the live and literally just pinpoint exactly where you want to, or at least what you want to see. So yeah, moving forward, I'll be adding timestamps once this is done. I'll I'll polish it a bit, I'll add a cool thumbnail, and I'll add in the description some chapters or timestamps so that even if you do watch the replay, you can literally like move to whatever point of the life you want to watch based on what I actually talk about. So yeah. Very, very solid superset. So, quick little explanation here. We did incline dumbbell curls. I was supersetted that with a tricep exercise, overhead tricep extension. I am a huge fan of any overhead work for the triceps because, as the name implies, your triceps tricep has 3 heads, and the biggest head being the long head of your tricep. And the best way to do the long head of your tricep is by doing any overhead movement. So any literally overhead press like that, overhead extension, the target to the long head of the tricep, which is like the biggest part of the tricep. So if you were to do any tricep exercise, definitely encourage you to do an overhead extension, one of my all-time favorites. And yeah, that's also why I'm such a big fan of free weights, because this is kind of different topic here, but yesterday I went to a gym called Alpha Land, and today I'm at my apartment. And usually that would kind of throw up my workouts because I would use machines, and I'm not against machines. I think machines are great, specifically, especially if you can stick to that same machine. But the issue with machines is that they are different from gym to gym, depending on the brand of the machine, right? So, for example, there's a couple of machines here in the apartment gym, but they are completely different from the machines at Alpha Land. And so if I were to constantly switch back and forth between the apartment gym versus the actual gym, it'd be really hard for me to actually track my progress. Like, am I getting stronger or not? Like, I don't know, right? Because the machines are completely different. So just from a tracking perspective, I really just like to simplify my training and stick to only free weights. So barbells, dumbbells, and body weight. Because a 50-pound dumbbell at my apartment gym is going to feel the exact same as a 50-pound dumbbell at a commercial gym or an Alpha Land, for example, right? So it just more so peace of mind really for me, like kind of helps with my OCD in a way. But yeah, it's just personal preference. Like if you love using machines and love switching it up every now and then that's totally fine. But just because I tend to go from like gym to gym, I travel quite a bit too, and just to make tracking as simplistic as possible for me, I just stick to free weights mainly. No second guessing. I know exactly what I did last week. I know exactly what to do this week. Simplifies my training, simplifies my tracking, and just makes, it makes me go to bed. It makes me go to sleep well at night, basically. I don't miss any sleep, essentially. So, yeah. Great little superset there. We've got 4 more, so let's freaking do it. Alrighty. 2 sets done, 3 sets left to go. Typically, when it comes to my exercise sequence, I'm usually a lot more pickier. So typically, I like to do most of my compound lifts earlier on during my workout, And then the isolation exercises like I'm doing right now, biceps, triceps, side delts, towards the latter portion of the workout, because yeah, I feel a bit kind of like fatigued now, especially in my arms, and knowing that I still have to do weighted heavy pull-ups afterwards um kind of scares me, because I believe my performance may dip slightly due to my biceps and triceps and side delts being slightly more fatigued than they typically would be whenever I do the exercise, which I tend to be a bit fresher earlier on in the workout. So big picture, as long as you just do whatever is required of you during your workouts, that's the most important parts. But exercise sequence does really matter. So ideally, try to do your compound lifts earlier on during your workout, because they are the most taxing. They require the most kind of like oomph, and then do more of the isolation type exercises towards the latter portion of the exercise, because you don't really need to hype yourself up too much to do a bicep curl or a lateral raise or a tricep push down. Now, as you do get a bit more advanced in your training career, you may notice that certain muscle groups are slightly more stubborn than others, which is why you probably see most bodybuilders actually start with like isolation exercises to like pre-exhaust their muscle groups, specifically their lagging muscle groups, before they move over to like the actual heavy compound lifts. But that's because they want to bring up the lagging muscle groups. But for most natural lifters, especially for myself and for probably you listening as well, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Focus on the big meat and potato stuff first, and then move over to your isolation work. So yeah. And also, I'm not sure if you guys saw my last YouTube video, but I basically talked about kind of how my goals have slightly shifted. So I still love bodybuilding, training, lifting weights, all that stuff. But like I said earlier on in this live, I went on a run this morning, and running has just been a huge thing for me lately. I ran 3 marathons, just did my third marathon just under a month ago, and I got a sub 3:15, and I love running. I feel like it's genetically what I'm built for. I'm really good at it, and I enjoy doing it. And so I've shifted most of my kind of priority towards more running, right? I've been running up to 50, 60 miles a week, so it tends to take most of the time that I do spend training wise, tends to be more towards running than lifting. But like I said, still love lifting, still love doing all that stuff. But yeah, for the next couple of years, definitely prioritizing more like marathon style training, just to kind of see where I can take it. Because like I said, I feel like I'm genetically built for it. I'm good at like long distance things. So yeah. Anyway, done rambling. Let's do our third sets.
Very simple. So, 10 to my character set. Jared is all kind of Matre, Nes ETS the palette. Jedi were passed on, so for this spider as a 12 pieces in, so we saw the session sign your trade, so that's more.
One thing I do find a bit annoying is that I cannot really see the chats anywhere. Like I can only see myself, which is a bit annoying, because I do know as I'm like during sets, intro sets, I cannot really look at the screen because I only see them whenever they pop up live, but I can't see them after the fact. So a bit annoying, but we'll figure it out. Okay, 2 more sets left of each. Got a pretty good pump going on. Typically speaking, one thing I have noticed since going live the past 2 days, 3 days now, is that my workouts are taking a bit longer than anticipated, which it's not ideal, don't get me wrong, because time is money. And I could be doing something else right now, but I do think the ROI in terms of like building the connection with you guys is definitely there. Even though we don't have many people tuning in live right now, I'm going to be posting the replays. And I just think it's a good asset to have for you guys to look back on, just to not only see just my thoughts, my training, but then also kind of just documenting the process too, right? Where from, yeah, these are my thoughts as of 2025. And what's the date? October 4th. So yeah, I think it's a good idea to kind of document your thoughts, document your training, just kind of keep track of that. But yeah, we're close to 100 minutes. It's probably the longest live I've ever done. So yeah, let's finish this workout nice and strong. One thing I also typically like to do in between sets is actually just kind of walk around. I think that is one of the most underrated ways to increase your daily step counts, is just by walking in circles in between sets. Usually I'm like a madman walking around in between sets just to kind of, I don't even know, like after a set I'm like, I gotta like walk around, and you'd be surprised. I get up to like a couple thousand extra steps in just during my workouts, walking around, walking to the water fountain, walking to the bathroom, walking in between machines, like all these things. So that's definitely an underrated way to not only increase your step count, but then also burn more calories throughout the day. One thing we like to tell our clients is that since they start living a more of an active lifestyle, right? And we can do that in one of many ways, right? You can either park a bit further away from work, grocery store, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, your chores, doing the dishes, grocery shopping, running errands, like all these small little things may not seem like a huge deal at that very moment, but you'd be surprised they can add up to burning or to getting a couple thousand extra steps in, which therefore helps you burn thousands of extra calories throughout the week. So that is one of the most underrated ways to just burn more calories and lose weight. Like your little literal fat burning machine. And if you combine that, a high step counts with proper nutrition, so making sure that you don't eat like a pig, obviously, eat in a calorie deficit, eat enough protein to keep you satiated, full, preserve muscle mass, eat a healthy amount of healthy fats to keep your hormones healthy, testosterone, estrogen, libido, sex drive, all these things, and then enough carbs to fuel just your day-to-day, your workouts, your work performance. I mean, you're going to see some awesome results. Like most of our clients who have lost up to like 50 pounds, like most of them don't even do any straight form of cardio. Like we don't have them go on the elliptical, the Stairmaster, the treadmill behind me, none of that crap, unless you obviously want to. But most of them just simply live more of an active lifestyle, and it pays dividends, let me tell you. Especially, like I said, if you combine that with proper nutrition, proper workouts, yeah, you're gonna see some awesome results. Yogurt, see sumo lifts. Alrighty, guys, we're on to our last exercise of the day, which is going to be some weighted pull-ups, neutral grip. So, like I said, I typically will do these earlier on during my workout, but life happens, and people were using the machine, and you gotta always respect other people in the gym. So, yeah, we kind of compensated, and we kind of worked around it, right? It's always important to be flexible within your workouts. Of course, you should try your best to stick to your actual structured workout program to see optimal results, but we don't always live in like the ideal world where you just have access to a private gym and you can just go from machine to machine to machine all in sync. Like, of course, you're going to have to either working with other people, use supersets if you have to, use different equipments from time to time, which I typically am not a big fan of, but if you have to, as long as you put in the work, get the work done, that's the most important part. So yeah, thankfully we got the pull-up bar now, we can use it, and yeah, we're pretty warmed up, so we're just gonna literally go straight into it. Typically, I mean, for pull-ups especially, like I don't really warm up much for them. Typically speaking, I'll do a couple like maybe like dead hangs for a bit, maybe a couple bodyweight pull-ups, but yeah, my back is pretty warm. We already did those deficit bros. My entire body is honestly really warm, so we're just gonna chuck on some weight and get after it. So 45 pounds, shooting for around 5 to 10 rep range. So around 6-7 reps or so. So I put on the lifting straps, grab the dumbbell, and we'll be ready to rock. And for the 2 people that are still watching, I'm gonna be doing a quick little physique update afterwards as well. I feel like I haven't really shown much of that on YouTube, at least. I tend to show quite a bit of it on my Instagram and Snapchat if you guys follow me there, but on YouTube sometimes it can be slightly difficult. But yeah, we'll head into the bathroom after, show you guys what's happening. Anyway, let me grab the bench. Alrighty, so 45 pounds, neutral grip pull-ups, wrist grips, lifting straps. These are absolutely essential. As you guys can tell, full range of motion. So pretty much do a dead hang at the bottom. So like really, honestly, just like stretch out my lats at the bottom. Get a huge stretch in your lats. Like I see a lot of guys make this mistake on pull-ups where they'll literally do like just like half reps. And it's like, why? Like, why? I've never really, yeah, I don't think I've ever really understood that's like when you're at the gym, you're not there to train your ego. You're not there to look like an idiot. You're there to do good, high quality, productive work. And what that means is taking every single exercise you do through a full range of motion. And if that means lowering the weight and lowering your ego bits, then so be it, right? Because at least that way you get to stimulate all your muscle groups and arguably cause a lot more stimulus on your target muscle group and way less fatigue, right? Because the less weight you use, the less fatiguing it'll be. But if you get more stimulus, more muscle growth from that, it seems like a no-brainer to me, win-win situation. If I can use less weight and build more muscle, I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer, right? Unless you're trying to impress some ladies at the gym, but as you guys can tell, it's just me, unfortunately. But yeah, first set there, 7 reps, pick up 4 more sets. So ideally, I like to shoot for 6, my next sets, and then 5, and then 5, and then 5 again. But we'll see. But yeah, this will be the last exercise. It's getting pretty late. It's already 5:30, and then we'll be having dinner, do some client work, do a ton of editing, and yeah, that'll be that for today. I grab some water. Okay, next set. Oh, ah. So typically speaking, the rest times in between sets varies from exercise to exercise. So this is a compound exercise that recruits multiple muscle groups in one lift. So obviously we're primarily targeting our back, lats, latissimus dorsi, our rhomboids, our trapezius, biceps as well, brachialis, and a bit of triceps too, actually. So as you can tell, a lot of bang for the buck in terms of this exercise, right? And that's why I'm such a big fan of compound lifts, especially if you're short on time. Like you're far better off doing something like a pull-up where you can literally hit both your biceps and triceps and some rear delts too, compared to doing 3 different exercises, doing a bicep exercise, a lat exercise, and a rear delt exercise, right? Just naturally speaking, it's no brainer to do compound lifts compared to isolation lifts if you are short on time too. But going back to my rest times, for the compound lifts, like this one, for example, that recruit multiple muscles in one exercise, I tend to need to rest a bit longer in order for me to keep my performance on par. Like if I were to go now, for example, only rest like 60 seconds, my performance would dip. I'd probably only be able to get 3 or 4 reps, which isn't ideal, especially given what I talked about yesterday. The hypertrophy rep range is 5 to 30 reps. So at the very least, I want to get a minimum of 5 reps on my next set. And if you don't feel like you can get at the very least 5 reps, then you should rest a bit longer. So yeah, for compound lifts, I usually tend to rest slightly longer compared to the isolation lifts, like, right? Like, so hold your rest around 2 to 3 minutes here. I'll do my next set. But yeah, as long as your cardiovascular system is like back to normal again, you're not like heavy breathing, you're not out of breath. If you feel like your synergist muscle groups aren't going to be interfering with the actual exercise, so if you feel like your biceps are good, your forearms are good, everything else is good, then go ahead. And if you think you can do at the very least 5 more reps in your next sets, then those are all green flags, and then you should be able to do your next set. But as you can tell, that depends on the exercise, right? So for a compound lift like this one, it may take a bit longer. But after doing a calf raise, right, after a set of calf raises, you're pretty much good to go after like, what, 10, 20, 30 seconds max, right? So it's really exercise dependent, right? So yeah, feel good. Could probably do, yeah, my next set. As you guys can tell, I am lost for words. Got nothing left, nothing to say. Feel like we're deep into the workouts. Fatigue is pretty high. Starting to feel a bit hungry here, and I just kind of wanna eat something. So yeah, that's kind of one of the beauties of working out at a apartment gym, where yeah, I don't have to commute anywhere. I don't have to drive anywhere. Very convenient. I can just finish my workout now, eat something real quick, and I'll go straight to work because yeah, the Alpha Land gym that I've been going to, it's literally on a lucky day 30 minutes there and then 30 minutes back without traffic. Typically speaking, there is traffic, especially like when I come back at like 5, 6 p.m. during peak hours. Gets up to like 45 minutes there and back, and that obviously takes a big chunk out of your day away. So I'm a huge believer in convenience, and you don't really need more discipline or willpower to get into shape. You just need to, quite honestly, prime your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice. I say this literally all the time. I feel like every single day, like I'm talking to at least one person, and I tell them this exact thing, right? Where if you can just create this environment for yourself where you don't have to rely on your motivation or your willpower to do the things you know you should be doing, it just makes your life so much easier, and it makes accomplishing your goals almost like automatic in a way. It's almost like a cheat code. So a couple examples here. If I go into your kitchen right now and I'm bombarded by junk food, it's gonna be pretty difficult for me to eat healthy, right? Whereas if you go into my kitchen and all you see is healthy food and you're hungry, guess what you're gonna be eating? Healthy food, right? Prime example there when it comes to your food intake. Just only stock up on healthy food. I know it's easier said than done, but it can be very simple. Same thing with your gym. If your gym requires you to drive 30 minutes there and back, you're probably not gonna be able to stick to your workout program, right? Whereas if your gym is 5-minute walk down the road, a lot more convenient. The chance of you skipping your workouts are going to be a lot slimmer. When it comes to work, if you just wake up every single morning and you have your laptop ready to go, if you got your work environments ready to go, makes it pretty easy to start work, right? Whereas if it's not laid out, if you have to kind of gather everything together, it's just very inconvenient to go ahead and start working right away, right? So just trying to optimize your entire environment to help you accomplish your goals is probably one of the biggest cheat codes that I've done for myself personally, and I recommend everyone else to do as well. Anyway, let's do our 4th set. I'm an idiot. I should have switched the camera a bit. Sorry, I'm gonna keep it here so you guys can actually see my set. Hopefully you guys were able to see the exercise I was doing. Alrighty, last set, best sets. Let's do it, baby.
My booty. Wait, what's up?
Alrighty, guys, workout's complete. That was a very tough, grueling workout. So we did a total of 6 exercises, 5 sets each of each exercise. So calves, superset of rows, 5 sets each. And we did the pull-ups for 5 sets, 5 sets of triceps, and 5 sets of biceps, and then 5 sets of side delts. So my total weekly volume tends to be around 20 to 30 sets per muscle group per week. That's quite a bit, quite a lot, I'll be honest with you. But it's been shown that at the very least doing 10 sets per muscle group per week, up to 20 sets, is like the good kind of volume range to be within. So as long as you kind of find yourself within that range, 10 to 20 sets per week, you should be good to go. So yeah, it could be 5 sets of chest Monday, 5 sets of chest Thursday, and then there, boom, there's like your minimum effective dose, your 10 sets per week. And you could also do a couple more sets if you can recover in time, obviously. But yeah, as long as you're kind of within that range, you should be good to go. Anyway, let me get my water, and then we'll do a quick little physique check. Let's see how we should do this. I will say, though, I have seen a strong correlation between the amount of volume I do and the muscle growth. So if you are at all lagging in muscle growth and you are recovering in time and you feel like you can do more volume, I would really suggest you at the very least try it out. It doesn't hurt to try. And hey, if you cannot recover in time, then you can always dial it back. I'm not sure the lighting's doing me any justice here, but okay, that's it better. I'm telling you guys, those overhead extensions, I've been doing those like 3 to 4 times a week, and definitely noticed some good tricep growth. And yeah, maintaining this level of leanness, it's quite easy if you're running a bunch of miles, combined with a high step count, and of course, a proper diet for the rehab it. This lighting is so weird, man. Like, I don't even know where to stand. I'm intrigued to hear what you guys think the body fat is, so drop your guesstimations below. But yeah, guys, that is the current physique update. Once again, 20 to 30 sets per muscle group per week, training each muscle group, most major muscle groups 2 times per week. The smaller ones closer to, I want to say 4 times a week. Doing up to 20 sets per muscle group per week, up to 30 for the smaller ones, following a modified leg push-pull split. So yeah, negative 50 body fats. I'd probably be dead by then. But yeah, like, I feel honestly the best I've ever felt. Just to let me sit down with you guys before I wrap up live call. Just a quick little chatteroo. So all the workouts, and I will tell you that this is probably the best I have felt, the best I've looked. But not just that, I probably looked a bit better, but in the most sustainable way. My diet I absolutely love. My workouts I love. My running I love. My training I love. I love what I do for work. Obviously working with my clients. I'm just in a really good spot right now, just with everything, just business wise, finances wise, mindset wise, health wise, just everything is just really, really where I would like it to be. And of course, there's always room for improvement. And I encourage you guys to always keep on pushing, keep on getting better, keep on improving, because that's the purpose of life. It's, yeah, like I wasn't always like this, right? Like I was a chubby kid growing up. I was shy. I was insecure. I could never have thought about filming myself, documenting my journey, having a social media account. I'd always dreamt of it, but I never actually thought that I would just be able to do something like that. But sure, slowly but surely, month after month, year after year, after I told myself that would start, I just kind of slowly but surely kind of got out of my shell. I got outside of my comfort zone, and I know it's a cliche, but real growth happens when you get uncomfortable. So if you right now are comfortable and you are not happy with where you want to be at, get uncomfortable. Do something that kind of scares you, because you're either gonna win, you're either gonna go through it and you'll survive, or you'll learn, right? And I think that's kind of what my mindset has been all throughout, where yeah, it's like I'll either learn from that mistake if I did make a mistake, or I'll win, right? So it's almost like a win-win situation if you reframe your mindset like that. So those are my closing thoughts today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. I will be back. Will I be back tomorrow? I don't know. Tomorrow is supposed to be my but we may go live and discuss a different topic. So if you guys have any other suggestions for me to discuss, please let me know. And now, before you let you guys go, if you are at all interested in losing your body fat, gaining more muscle, increasing your confidence, you can go ahead and apply for our coaching program down below. You can schedule a free consultation call with me personally, where we'll essentially go over your current fitness goal, we'll go over your current struggles, and create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush them in the next couple months. We have a bunch of testimonials you can check out as well, where we've helped hundreds of busy guys by now lose 30 to 50 pounds, all without sacrificing your favorite foods or spending hours in the gym. So that sounds like something you want to do. Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. You can even DM me on Instagram too. My DMs are always open. And yeah, I'll see you guys then.